his dad being like, yo, the CIA killed your uncle. Welcome to the family, kid. Like, you know, they don't think like you and me. They don't think, you know what I mean?
No, but he said his father woke him up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not passing at the table and we're talking about it and
Right.
it came up. So now I come back to New York. He's telling me what happened. He said, they're going to kill her. That was the last weekend in July. They killed her August 4th, 61. When did you pull it up?
62. 62?
62. Yep.
Whoa.
Yep.
Now, there's a lot of people who take wild conspiracies on her death. It does seem like she was probably killed. I think people take that to too far levels. But
it's in my book.
Think?
I put it in there. My publishers, people that don't know the publishing world, they vet everything because they got the deep pockets. They're going to get sued. I wrote this book 3 years ago and said Bobby killed her. Bobby at the time was denying even being in California. There's no way an attorney general could be in California and nobody knows about it. So I went to Sheriff Booker, and sure enough, Peter Lawford got a ticket that night on Sunset Boulevard, and they looked in the car.
Like the singer, Peter Lawford?
Peter Lawford was his brother-in-law. Peter Lawford married a Kennedy.
Really?
You didn't know that?
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So that's why he was always around. So now, not only did they put Robert Kennedy in California, they put her in the house for 4 hours before they called the ENTs. Now the ENT came together with it. You got to get this guy Mark Shaw on the show.
Yeah, that was the guy you were talking about earlier. Okay.
This guy he's opening the files again.
Whoa. Yeah, she was.
I mean, read some of his books. He's been well acclaimed, Mark Shaw.
Yeah, I've always seen some. I want to be clear. They're very, very different and very different settings. But I don't know why I do this. Maybe it's like who they were, like as a social symbol and stuff like that. But there's some odd little parallels I always play in my head with like Marilyn Monroe and Princess Diana. You know?
Oh, yeah.
They met an early brutal end. There's questions about
Princess
how
Diana, you know, obviously they said she was pregnant and the Queen was not going to let that happen.
Yeah. That one's sketchy. Oh, okay. All right. We're going to stop real quick. Bathroom break. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. So we left off with Peter Lawford, the ticket, and Bobby. You said Bobby was up there, and you alleged in the book that Bobby was the one who had her taken out, which is definitely a controversial take, but they put it in there.
Believe me, it's more and more now coming out. In fact, there's more tapes on it now because they did a Netflix 4-hour thing on Marilyn.
Yes, they did.
And they
Who played her?
And they put
Anna De Palma.
They put Bobby in it. They put Bobby was in her apartment for 4 hours before the paramedics took her out.
He was physically there. Wait, I missed that.
In the apartment for 4 hours. No, the stuff is all coming out now.
You know, I always wonder, when you look at power, you look at talent, these different things that get you places in society, right? Mm-hmm. Think about like a dynasty, like the Kennedys, and all the tragedy that's happened to them.
I don't know.
I always wonder about the world and the way it has a very mean way of balancing out. If there's like a price you pay for, you know, not to oversimplify it, but maybe the things you do or the things that your power has you do. You ever think about that?
Well, you know, I've thought about it a lot because, you know, these kids are so privileged.
Yeah.
But they use it in the wrong way. I mean, even Ted Kennedy.
Yeah.
I mean, there were so many
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were so many unjustifiable homicides, so many things that were not proven because of their power. They sweep it under the rug.
Yeah. And now you have one running for president again. It's like...
But that I can't believe. I heard him. I had to hear this. So I had somebody send me their YouTube thing where he said, quote him, his father woke him up one night to let him know that the CIA killed your uncle. Now, if you do the math, he was 9 years old. Why would his father wake up a 9-year-old son to say, I just want you to know the CIA killed your uncle?
If that's true and he was 9 when that actual conversation happened, I agree. That sounds suspect. I do wonder, though, like, some of these people are so disconnected from reality. I could see the lack of a filter system to, you know, why would you tell your 9-year-old that? That's the right reaction. But I could totally see his dad being like, yo, the CIA killed your uncle. Welcome to the family, kid. Like, you know, they don't think like you and me. They don't think, you know what I mean?
No, but he said his father woke him up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not passing at the table and we're talking about it and
Right.
He came up. He went deliberately to your bedroom and told you this? I mean,
Was he drunk?
who?
That's an important question. Was his dad
Who,
drunk?
I don't know that. No,
I could totally
get
see that.
specifics. Okay.
I mean, that is. I agree with you. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, who knows? I would love to be a fly on the wall in some of those houses sometimes, just to see what it's really like.
Well, I know Joe is totally insane.
Did the father?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard stories from Frank telling me about it.
You know, there's a biographer. I forget his name, Alessi. Maybe you can look it up. I hope I have this right. I think he was given permission to do a biography of the Kennedy family, which creates bias, right? Who tried to say that Joe had nothing to do with Prohibition and was not in it at all. And that was my reaction too.
Whoa.
It was like, get the fuck out of here.
Well,
Joe
that I
was
know.
running hooch from Scotland through Canada all the way down the coast.
Forget about it.
Known fact.
And I think it was more money than Frank Costello told me he made $30 million, $50 million, like that.
Yeah.
And then that's when he bought so much property because, you know, Costello always wanted to be a legitimate guy.
Yeah.
So he went into real estate to try to have that image. And he bought what he owns in Wall Street, you can't believe. Still to today.
What, like the buildings?
Buildings.
Yeah.
He still owns them.
Yeah.
My building's like 60 units. He's partners in my building where I live.
Well, his estate, like his family.
Yeah.
Frank
Well,
Costello.
no. See, no, he always used George Wolfe. George Wolfe was his lawyer. It was his lawyer since 1943. So they created all these trusts and
Got it.
it was not in his name.
Did he ever talk about Lucky Luciano with you? Never. Because they were tight.
Oh, no kidding.
They were really tight.
No, but see, my relationship with him, and he was actually grooming me to do what I was going to do.
Like,
Get the money, do this, do that, do this, but wanted me clean. He did not want me associated with anybody, and that's why he wanted nobody to know my name. You know, most people didn't know my name until The Godfather came out. They always called me the kid. Hey, kid.
the thing is, when you're telling this about, for people at home, as my little mafia historian nerd ass follows some of this stuff, Frank Costello would be the guy that would be like this. Because you're 100% right. He really he tried to tone down what the mafia did. He wanted to be known. It's exactly like you say. He wanted to be known as a legitimate businessman. So it would make sense that you, being the kid, being around him, he'd be trying to groom you to not be in that. Similarly, this was part of the calculation when, at least from what I've heard, maybe you can correct this, with Vito Corleone, is that the character was kind of a combination of Bonanno, Costello, and Gambino. And both Bonanno and Costello were known for trying to go legitimate, and particularly with Bonanno.
Well, even Bill was educated.
Right. He wanted his son to not be in it. And then, like Michael, he came in. Very interesting.
The situation, I mean, and I know it to be true just because of the time I spent with all these people. You know, it was, that's why, like we said, did he ever talk to you? No. He only talked to me to what he wanted me to do. I'd meet him every day. And then when there was other things going on, somebody else would tell me, like Carmine from the Copa, or those guys would say, go here, go there. Or, well, that was not handled by him. And another thing that always impressed me, he went home every night for dinner and came back out and was home again by 10:30. Never stayed out late. And he owned the Copa Cabana. He'd go to first shows, never second shows.
That's some good discipline right there.
Oh, no.
The Copa seems like that just comes up at the middle of every mob story. That was the spot.
Oh, what I remember. I mean, to me, having people carrying their tables over their heads, in the middle of the night, bringing people in, ringside. I was privy, because of being at the Copa. I was there the night Sammy Davis Jr. was being heckled by this bowling team in Brooklyn.
A bowling team in Brooklyn
Was sitting ringside, heckling him, go dance, do that. And the New York Yankees cleared the place. They beat up everybody in the joint.
The Yankees, like DiMaggio and them?
Yankees, you got to look that up. You won't believe who some of them were.
Yankees, Copa Cabana.
Major players.
Sammy Davis Jr.
And he swept it under the rug.
Whoa.
He got it swept under the rug. Nobody got charged, nobody.
Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.